Yeah.
Can you see it?
So for only $3.56, you're looking at pretty cheap meal for no. I usually get what's known as the Egg McMuffin for breakfast. It's early in the morning. Here. Pretty good. when my wife and 2 kids were living here in Irving. This place got hit by a tornado. This is before we had our 3rd child. It got hit about right there. Tornado came through, hit that building right there, right off MacArthur. Man, we're passing Ripley's Believe It or Not, also a wax museum. Pretty good wax museum, to be honest. They also have a glass maze in there. Well, it's like a mirror maze, but there's glass in there too. And there it is, the original Six Flags over Texas, Arlington. I did do research about the Six Flags and started off with the Spaniard flag for quite a bit of years, like 200 more years or so. Then the Spanish lost briefly to the French for about almost a decade. Then after the French and the Spanish were into it for a while, fighting over Texas, then Mexico stepped in for about 15 years. A little Mexican flag for about 15 years, and then that fell. The Mexico lost. So after Mexico lost, finally Texas just said, forget all that, we'll just be our own country. It was called the Republic of Texas. That went on for quite a bit of time until finally decided, well, we don't want Mexico messing with us, so there's Hurricane Harbor over there. So we'll join the United States of America. And then the Civil War broke out. So for about 5 years, between roughly 1860, 1865, it became what is known as the Confederate States, or one of the Confederate States. It flew a Confederate flag. And that was number 5. And then number 6 came about after the fall of the Civil War, which is kind of still going on, but so people think. But then it decided, well, we don't want Mexico still messing with us, so we'll join the United States and make them do some of our dirty work. And it became a state again. But we always kind of look at it as our own country. Here's the new bridge off of 820 and 121. You can see they're constructing it right now as I'm vlogging. It's a brand new bridge right there off of 820. Isn't that nice? Whee! Isn't this fun, people? There's Ernie's. I haven't eaten at Ernie's, but I don't know anything. It's like a Bennigan's or something. There's Olive Garden. Mi Pueblo. Cocina de Mexico. It's got a British thing right next to it. It's like a British pub. There in the trees. They had trimmed those trees. There's a Red Lobster right there. Or as Linda calls it, the Red Slopster. It's funny, this Ron Burgundy true crime right here. Ron Burgundy. I actually saw Will Ferrell live. I saw him in New York at a workshop. He was doing several things at once, really. He does a lot. He's a marathon runner, all kinds of stuff. He was working with James Lipton and Billy Bob had come in, meaning Billy Bob had made fun of James Lipton in a different way. They did like a Saturday Night Live anniversary thing. But Will Ferrell was there also to interview him. And they did it right there at the Actor Studio, inside the Actor Studio. A lot of people don't realize it, but they did it there where James Lipton does his interviews. So it was Will Ferrell playing James Lipton, and it was James Lipton being interviewed by Will Ferrell as James Lipton. He had these like tall stack of blue cards, very, very tall. It was like, I don't know, 3 meters, like a yardstick of blue note cards. Will Ferrell did. We were cracking up. We didn't expect it because we just showed up, for class. And there Will Ferrell was dressed up as James Lipton, our blessed dean of the Actor Studio. I think he said,
"Watch out. Vehicle on shoulder ahead."
Was that Ron Burgundy? I think he said, where's the comedy or something. He was kind of struggling with it a little bit. He did fall over. So they had the little blue mat where you'd lean back and then you'd fall over on the mat. It wasn't long after that he he did that skit, but it wasn't long after that James Lipton did another skit mocking him with Billy Bob. Billy Bob Thornton did another one where he played a sniper. And Will Ferrell, if I'm not mistaken, was part of that, playing James Lipton running from Billy Bob Thornton. I don't know if that was all on one night. It might have been. I think it was. Because Billy Bob was hosting Saturday Night Live. Yeah, they all knocked it out in one. That was a lot of things going on. So Billy Bob Thornton was hosting Saturday Night Live, and they did the skit there. So they used our school. Ideally, you could say I was on Saturday Night Live. They used our school. They used us being, being students and everything for that skit. And Billy Bob was like, perched up in a high area, with a scope on James Lipton. James Lipton was running through the streets of New York, but it was actually Will Ferrell dressed up like him. And then, he's running. He's out of breath, and he grabs a pretzel from a pretzel stand. He's eating this pretzel. And anyway, I think that year Billy Bob he hosted Saturday Night Live. So they used Saturday Night Live, kind of, it was part of the ring. It's not really big with the Actor Studio. It is part of it in a way. There are Actor Studio people that have been on Saturday Night Live. Well, Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci have. They've both been on it. So it was interesting. I didn't expect that, in the school. It was kind of the central area of a lot of the New York entertainment. The Actor Studio is. It really is. People don't realize it. It's kind of a dark little place, but it is both East Actor Studio and the Actor Studio Drama School, which is part of the New School University, now part of Pace University. It was interesting. That was a very interesting year. That was the same year Johnny Depp came, Bruce Willis, Kevin Costner was there. There was Ben Kingsley, Sir Ian McKellen was there. Guy was in Lord of the Rings. A lot of people. Will Smith, Samuel Jackson. Man, they had more than usual. Sarah Jessica Parker was there. I'm trying to think of all. Sissy Spacek made it. Sissy Spacek was there. Let's see, who else was there? I spoke with Benicio del Toro. Benicio del Toro was there. He talked about Traffic, working with Soderbergh. Benicio del Toro was there. I also spoke with Richard Gere. Richard Gere was there. Now, Nicolas Cage was supposed to be there, but he had to take some time off because he was in the middle of like 2 productions or something. He wasn't able to make it. He was in Europe or something, but he was supposed to be there. I think the person probably maybe took his place was the guy that blinks a lot. He lived next to an axe murderer in England, UK. He was in a wedding movie. Has a very British accent. He blinks a lot like this. He does a lot of blinking. He doesn't like Porsche. He blinks a lot. Just blinking all the time, just blinking. You know what I'm talking about. The guy that blinks. He's an actor. He does a lot of he's a matinee actor from England. He was there. Stocking Channer was there, but I actually was kind of exhausted at that point. I didn't attend her thing, and a lot of people didn't, and they got in trouble. It wasn't Stocking Channer's year really. I think I would say his name is Hughes, something like Hughes. It's not Howard Hughes. Howard Hughes wasn't there, but the spirit probably of Howard Hughes. He was in a lot of things. He kind of talks a little like this, and he's got the British accent. He plays upper class people. He's in a wedding movie, 4 weddings and a funeral or something like that. I'll look it up. Hugh Grant. Yeah, Hugh Grant was there too. Sir Ian McKellen, Ben Kingsley. They had the BBC people there too as well. Also, believe it or not, Deborah Winger was there. I actually, that was an interesting interview. It was very interesting. Deborah Winger's done some really good work. Terms of Endearment, she did Betrayed with Tom Berenger. Urban Cowboy, she even did that. She worked with John Travolta. Yeah, Deborah Winger was there. I even got to talk to Sissy Spacek too about David Lynch.
Watch out. Vehicle on shoulder
What was
ahead.
interesting about Sissy Spacek is she worked with David Lynch, and then later on I actually met David Lynch. David Lynch really liked Sissy Spacek. So I'm just looking for like a $2 one or something. This is actually a really good one right here. It's a very, very good one. He's actually really good too. He worked with Stella Adler. Mark Ruffalo. Oh yeah. That's Texas Wesleyan. You can see the library right there. That's the library, and that's one of the chapels and center of Texas Wesleyan. All right, so we're pulling into one of my old schools. We're on the back side of it right there. You can see the tennis court. You see the sign right here. It says Texas Wesleyan. Kind of see it. And there's a lot of fun stories about the old Texas Wesleyan University. It was the first private university I was accepted to in the theater department. I know it looks kind of run down a little bit, but it was the best theater department probably in Texas at the time when I was there in the early 90s. Look at this is Avenue B right here. That's a Model T right there, and mint condition too. Whoa. That is really nice. That's a really nice classic right there. And that's the dorm area right here. I stayed in those dorms right there. Actually escaped those dorms, literally. Those were the men's dorms when I went there. And there is the middle library, which is still there. That library is actually a really good library. Well, it was for theater at the time. There were a lot of good books there for studying theater. A lot of Sam Shepard stuff, all kinds of stuff. This is one of their centers here, the Richardson Center. And that's called the Polytechnic Methodist Church. Texas Wesleyan is a Methodist school. So they're a bunch of Methodists. They're pretty cool. And here's some of their garden. That's a garden area right there. And I vlogged a little bit of it before. This is a different angle off of Rosedale. This looks like probably some extension. This is extension of the university. So it's actually extended. That's called the Grace Methodist Metroplex, which is the home of Texas Wesleyan University. And we'll be turning down on Rosedale, which this looks way nicer than when I was there. This is a church right here, which has been used for performances and things like that. We had a little theater right there called the Firehouse Theater, which is right off Vaughn. This is Vaughn Street right here. Of course, they probably tore it down. Yeah, well, no, it turned into a coffee shop. And this is where my acting class was. It was on the other side. And that's where the main stage was, right there. Right off Wesleyan University. And the shop was right here. Did some scene painting there. The campus subway right here. But that's part of the campus right there. And you can see the sign, the mural, Texas Wesleyan University. That's where I started. I ended up graduating at University of North Texas. Made it all the way to New York. Eventually to the New School University, where Bradley Cooper and Sean Baker, filmmaker, who started his career with the iPhone and Tangerine, both of them went there. And me. It's like an older subway. It's got like a little marquee for something on it. It says Ash Burns. Must have been something beforehand. Pretty interesting. Looks like they have some artwork out front where the theater used to be. Pretty cool.
well, that lady's about to blow up the place. She pissed off because they put a $50 hold trying to get gas because she bought a bag of chips. I know. I forgot my notebook at work. I gotta go back.
You have to go back to get
my notebook. I left. Yeah. I did.
That's the theater that's in The Projectionist. Right there. It's the one that's written in the script. It signifies it's that theater.
No, when?
Yeah, it's French last name. I used
think
to date
so.
a chick with
I
last
don't know,
name
maybe-
Quarles.
Maybe I got it wrong. Hold on.
They always have Quinn or Quarles or something like that. There's a really good movie called Locke. Just it's spelled exactly the same way that that's spelled too. It's got Tom Hardy in it. Saw it on the thing the other night. It was really good. See this tree right here? Look at this tree. You ever see trees like that? There are very interesting trees all around here.
Thibodeau.
Yeah, that Locke was the one word, or the one name for the street that they used for that street. Ridgely is a common name they use too.
She's been with her man for 62 years old. Her name is Mary. I don't know about his name. So they sat down. She's having potato soup, and he got some strawberry crepes or whatever. So he sat down right when I was leaving, and somebody said I was talking too loud. Okay, I can see it happening, whatever. But her story was, she's from Massachusetts. He's from Mississippi. And then his mother or her mother worked at the movie theater, and then she was there. So she met her love of 62 years being a movie usher. It's probably a drive-in. So that's 62. So yeah, she said she was 80 years old. So I was showing her pictures of my grandma.
What's that?
Water.
Oh, it's $2.79.
I need bottled water. I like a gallon, but I feel like I drink water more. Hey y'all! Don't forget to please subscribe show. Actually, this guy at work was very interested in us. I gave him our show.
Probably go with these right here.
So I spent about $10 on food.